So, Mark, did you see the ranch bottle? This thing is at Resorts World. I've been doing this show a long time, but I don't understand. I mean, welcome to my hometown.
I, the funny thing is, like, if you were scrolling and you saw this video and it wasn't in Vegas, wouldn't you think it was just AI? Like somebody that likes ranch is like, you know what? I'm going to make this AI video.
That's probably how it started anyway. But yes, it's real apparently at Resorts World, but so much imagination in this world.
It would be harder, I think, to grip onto a bottle versus like a fake bowl.
I don't know. I got nothing. Well, Mark, we have ranch bottles in Vegas, but we do not have Winnie and Buck. That was the famous statue that used to be at Harrah's Las Vegas. And a couple of years ago, they tore it out and it was in rough shape. And instead of fixing it up, they did that. And we thought it was destroyed. And then this week, Oklahoma City, the new Harrah's over there, they put out this video with our statue. And I'm pissed off about this.
Yeah, didn't they say there was no way to repair it or whatever? And everybody's like, so what? Just leave it there. It's fine. Or maybe put something around it so you can't touch it and then it would last longer. But it is sad. It's sad to see that it moved out of Vegas. Somebody else is getting to see it. I mean, I love that it's not destroyed. That's better than the alternative. But I would have liked to see it preserved somewhere in a Caesars property in Las Vegas, even if it's behind like plexiglass or something like that. But to see it just pop back up is kind of sad.
And Scott over at Vital Vegas points out that a couple of years ago when they did the renovations, that maybe this kitschy sort of cartoon Harrah's thing doesn't fit in with the, I don't even know what they're really, I guess convention crowds, purple, people who love purple, that is their theme these days. This belongs in Vegas. Whatever corporate exec, let it be there for a month, bring it back here, stop your nonsense.
They could put it out by the pool and then it wouldn't just be a Holiday Inn pool.
It would be a Holiday Inn pool with Winnie and Buck. Well, good news on the WWE WrestleMania front. WrestleMania 42 is coming to Las Vegas. We talked on previous shows how watch parties were banned here in Las Vegas, and I guess that's changed. Circa confirmed this, and some other places confirmed this, so WrestleMania backed off. I hadn't checked today, but ticket sales still seemed like there were some tickets available. I don't know how good this is compared to last year, but this is good news for people who want to go to watch parties.
Yeah, I think the greater Vegas area loves this. And if you can't afford the tickets, we've talked about how expensive they can be for this, especially last year and then this year's similar thing. So I'm not surprised if they're a little bit soft, but it's cool that you could go to a bar, hang out, watch it, still get kind of that experience and maybe have even more fun.
WrestleMania 41, last year's WrestleMania, was a record setter for all the ticket sales and everything else. Maybe it doesn't make sense to bring it back to the same city 2 years in a row.
Yeah, I could see that. Like do a rotation. That's what they do with the Super Bowl. I could see it doing something like this. Pick 5 cities and kind of rotate it through.
Well, we will talk about the Super Bowl and all kinds of sports stuff later in the show. What a sports week this has been. But before we do that, I would love to invite you to subscribe. Thousands of you are watching the channel, aren't subscribed. We're almost at 60K. Help us get there. Thank you so much for watching, listening. But let's talk Cadence Crossing, Mark, the newest Vegas casino. We got a new casino, and boy, do the locals love to come out for a Vegas casino, even if it's like a 25,000 square foot locals casino. Showed up there. It was supposed to open at noon. I think they ended up opening at 10 a.m., but I got there at like 12:15, and I had to park in the desert lot, like way down the street. That's how many people were there.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting to see. You wouldn't think it would be as big of an opening as some other places, but it's cool to see everybody come out to it. And beloved area right next door, you built it right next door to the old one that it's replacing, so that kind of makes it unique in that way. So glad to see that people seem to enjoy it. And how was the carpet?
Yeah, so I put it out on Twitter, and it seems like this is a very divisive carpet, and I have gone back and forth. It's not offensive to me, not great. I don't really love it. I think it looks better in the pictures and videos than it does in person. It does have that very like 90s Saved by the Bell kind of aesthetic to it, even though it doesn't have the blues and stuff. But I don't know. I just didn't love it as much as perhaps I hoped. And I think that would be my entire review of this place. It feels like the most uninspired corporate person decided to put a rectangle building and put a casino in front of it. This is the most 2026 uninspired piece of architecture I've ever seen in a building, because I will say Joker's Wild had curved roofs and it had that big giant slot machine and it had some interesting stuff. But if you want to, man, I mean, if you just want something that's 2026 blah, this is your casino.
Hey, he said it, not me, people. He's the negative one. But now, when I saw the picture of the carpet on Twitter, I was like, or X, I'm like, this looks like a 90s video game poster. You probably nailed it even better, like the Saved by the Bell in between breaks or whatever, and they show that. It just looks like that. But it was a weird choice, I thought. And the most surprising thing that I hadn't realized is this is the first new property Boyd has built in 20 years. So that's kind of mind blowing to me.
Yeah, which is even more why I'm very disappointed in what they went. I mean, so you could come at me because I've talked about Wildfire and Fremont and some of the wildfires from Station Casinos, and they're very much this. So both companies are doing, I just thought that Boyd could do something better. Of course, Station Casinos is actually building things like Durango too for a different market. And the whole thing is we're going to get rid of Joker's Wild because this is a nicer neighborhood with this master plan. And yes, it has this restaurant in there that's pretty nice. It has the bar with like the ticker tape screens like you see in Wildfire and even in some of the newer sports books. It has a lot of new machines like that, new games and stuff. All the employees were moved over from Joker's Wild 100%. So nobody lost their jobs. This is all great. But if they had renovated the other building, it actually had architectural style. It had something unique to it. This is just a rectangle building that could be any casino anywhere. It has no charm at all. But also, if you like modern things, it feels very 2026. I don't hate that about it. It just didn't have any, I don't know, anything special at all.
Felt like a casino in an office. Is that what you're saying?
No, it just felt like, every corporate, every mall looks the same, right? Everything around our entire country looks homogenized, and this was built very much in that style.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I was always surprised that they didn't just remodel. I figured there was some massive issues that would cost too much to fix, or maybe like we discussed, they wanted to make the whole footprint bigger, and it was just easier to build two things. Once they knock down the old building, they can add on there if need be. So I guess it makes sense in that way. But I always like when you refurbish an older building versus building a new one, because there is a charm that we don't get anymore. There is a little bit of style that you might not build into it anymore.
Yeah, there's no charm here, but it is very sterile 2026. The restaurant looked good. They have the taco shop there too, which is just Tacos El Pastor rebranded into Tacos Gauchos, I think, and then a decent bar. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. And it was way overloaded with people. So I'll go back when there's less people. I mean, I spent a lot of weekdays over at Joker's Wild when I did the construction videos. And there would be times I'd go in there when there's like 5 people on a weekday. And yesterday there was 1,000 people in there. So, there's probably better times to experience it. The newest Vegas casino, though, and that is something.
Yeah. And Boyd, of all people.
So let's talk Zoox. A few shows ago, for people who are interested in the experience, I talked about doing Zoox, but we also talked about how they're going to be in the Uber app this summer. And they're also trying to get a waiver so that they can start charging, because I guess that's the main reason they're not charging now, is they're not legally actually allowed to charge for the service. But that should all probably be settled pretty soon. But they also announced that they're doubling their Las Vegas destinations, adding the Sphere, T-Mobile Arena, and the Las Vegas Convention Center, making this a more robust service and probably starting to charge in the summer. I guess the whole moral of this is it's another taxi service that you're going to see in Las Vegas, adding it to Vegas Loop, Uber, Lyft. And oh yeah, we really do still have taxis, Mark. Those exist too.
Yeah, you never hear anybody talk about them anymore, but it is funny. And sometimes it's the cheapest of the option. Well, not compared to this because it's free right now, but sometimes it's cheaper than taking Uber or Lyft, and people don't even think about it anymore. So definitely check that if you're at the airport, especially. But it's good to see that this is expanding. It's been successful. I love that we're getting more options to the airport. We're getting more options to T-Mobile, things like that. And that's where there's been a lot of a backup. But we haven't talked about in a bit is what happened to those helicopters that were going to be $30 to fly us around.
Oh, with the guy that is building the spaceport.
Yeah.
I don't know. We need an update on the spaceport. We'll have to look into that and bring that on a future show. But this is happening. Obviously, this company is backed by Amazon. Tons of money, and they also announced expansions into Austin and Miami coming later this year. So this is one of the big players. Waymo is testing, and we have Tesla Cyber cabs are probably going to be here too. So yeah, I mean, it's the weather, right? Any of these warm weather cities are going to get this first. Probably not coming to Detroit anytime soon, at least not till they get it figured out.
Well, you got to hate on Detroit, man.
It's too cold. It's just too cold. So here's a story that comes from John Mahaffey over at Vegas Advantage. Mandatory side bets have arrived on the Las Vegas Strip. Can you believe that? New York has a blackjack game now with a $2 minimum side bet on it, like a $5 minimum bet. So it really makes it the worst blackjack odds in the entire city, he says. Previously, there's a couple of casinos downtown that have these mandatory side bets. This is the first time we've seen it on the Strip.
You would think it would have started in the Strip versus downtown, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I wonder like how that happened downtown. Did one person start it and then they all figured out they could do it? I think this is a troubling trend, as we've seen some more positive trends in some areas. I think Mahaffey also recently said there's only like one 000 electronic table game left in the city. So we lost, people weren't playing them, and so they didn't do it. But the odds on this are really bad. Like, what is it, like a 7% household or something? He has the odds in his article. Great breakdown by Mahaffey.
Yeah, whenever you throw in the side bet, it's always a house advantage, or most of the time, unless there's something I'm not aware of. But that increases your risk or the edge to the house for sure. And then if there are small minimums like a $5 bet, everybody's going to do the minimum $2, but they'll probably stay at the $5 or $10 range. And that's a higher percentage of your initial bet. So it's even worse versus if you're betting $25 and only putting $2 on there. So I think it leans into the people that are going to be betting smaller amounts, and this will be a bigger portion of their overall bet.
Yeah, it just seems like they're trying to pull levers, right? MGM on one hand is saying, hey, we're going to give you the greatest deal of all. And then on the other hand, they're trying to find at a property how they can force you into a side bet and change the odds on blackjack. So kind of this give and take happening in the city. We'll talk about MGM's big blockbuster deal a little bit later. But as a reminder, we have our Patreon. You can get access to our weekly after show. It's so much fun to do that after show. Lots of laughs. We also have our all access, which gets you even more perks. Patreon.com/MTM Vegas for all the information. And thank you to everybody who supports us over there. Amazing community of people.
And a special thanks to our executive producer, Eduardo.
So it's been a little while since we've talked about Vegas. Matt on the show continues to grow. I think he's almost at 2 million subscribers. We're not jealous at all. But Vegas Matt has just did this crazy video on his second channel, Vegas Matt and Friends, $5,000 bets. I wasn't prepared for what this video was. I just want to say that I don't want to give away a lot of it, but it's a big up and down. And as you can imagine, with $5,000 bets, there's a lot of like $200,000 wins and, 5 minutes later, lots of big losses. And you guys will really see how it all turns out. And it took them like 7-8 hours to film this thing because of all the big breaks that they had to take because of the big payouts.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing about this is every time you hit something, it's going to be a tax bill probably. And with the new laws that are in place, that means even if you lose overall, you're going to be paying a hefty tax bill, 10% of winnings, which makes this even crazier to do this video, I think. So kudos to him for putting it out there and being willing to risk it.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely had a lot of $2,500 wins, like winning back half a bet. It's just, I mean, the numbers are staggering when you're betting 5,000, some of the wins, the losses, and what a ride that was yesterday. You guys should go see that video. Great job from the Vegas Matt team. But let's pivot to sports for a minute, Mark. The Super Bowl is coming back to Vegas, or most likely. The owners are going to vote on that next week, and that would be the 2029 Super Bowl. I think we covered on the show last year. They said they were negotiating with the NFL for the next Super Bowl, and this is kind of where it slots into the schedule. I think next year it's in LA again. I don't know where it is in 28, but 29 back to Vegas. This seems like a done deal, but it won't be announced till next week.
Yeah, it makes sense to have Vegas in the rotation with San Francisco, LA, New Orleans. I don't know if Miami's the other one, I think. So perfect destination for it. We saw how successful it was, how busy it was. We talked on the Sahara walkthrough video how that was their busiest weekend in the history of the casino as far as bringing people in, money earned, all that stuff, probably from all the private parties and things like that. So I could see Vegas wants that back in a bad way.
Yeah, this is far from a surprise with all the sports news this week. We knew we were getting another Super Bowl. The NFL had said that, and so here it is. Next week, we should know that. But this week, we got an even bigger piece of news, Mark. The NBA is coming to Las Vegas, or at least it's as close as it's ever been. 100% of the owners voted to explore expansion in both Seattle and Las Vegas. And by the end of the year, they hope to have a plan in place. I should say, this should be the caveat, is that they do reserve the right to say, we're going to expand not at all. We're going to give one team or we're going to give two teams, but there's no other cities in contention, Seattle, Las Vegas. And it does seem like they really are all in on getting both of these cities and moving from 30 to 32 teams.
Yeah, I mean, it would be weird to do 31, then it would be uneven. So I would think that they would do both or none. That's the way I would lean. The thing that really blows my mind is how much they have to pay to get a team. And I think that money gets split up among the owners. So if I was an owner, I'd be like, yeah, let's bring in two teams. I'll get double the money. But compared to, what was it? Charlotte was the last one in like 04. What was it? $400 million. Now we're talking $10 billion. I don't know. Is the NBA worth that much?
So what's going to happen is all the people who want to own these teams are now going to go to the NBA, and they have sort of a committee that's looking at this, and they're going to say, hey, we have all this money, and this is where we're going to build the arena, and this is what's going to happen. And then they're going to determine it. And I've been thinking a lot about this. I talked on a previous show about Bill Foley wanting to rehash T-Mobile Arena and where all these different arenas could be, whether it be at Resorts World building one next to there, LVXP, one south of the Strip, that's another proposal, Rio has always been a proposal. And the more I think about this, Mark, having Foley, the owner of the Vegas Golden Knights, own the NBA team is not only the right move, it's about $300 million he's pledged to renovate T-Mobile Arena, but getting both those teams in the same arena is better for the city. We don't need another venue, and I think that venue has done well. We've changed traffic patterns to make it work well, has tons of parking around it, and that he's been a great owner for Vegas, and having him own the NBA team would be incredible, and that would have MGM have a partnership as well, so I think it would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I've been pushing for that since we've heard about this. Like, we have the arena. There's plenty of teams that have a hockey and a NBA team in the same arena. It's possible. It's been done. It's been proven. So why wouldn't you take advantage of that instead of spending more money? $300 million is a lot cheaper than building out a whole new thing these days. So I think that one makes the most sense. I'm just sad that we're not going to get an all-net arena, man. Really hoping for that.
I mean, LVXP, Paul Steelman and his company did an amazing job on the renders for that hotel and everything over where AllNet used to be. Certainly, that's a project that's been mentioned. It's in the mix. Different ownership groups. Magic Johnson wants in on a team. So there's a few different ownership groups. But I mean, why would we go? Who cares about Magic Johnson? Foley's local. He's done a great job. I grew up in LA on the Lakers. I love Magic, but I think that we could keep our sports here local. But there was a lot of discussion about, is Vegas big enough for an NBA team, or more specifically, is it big enough to support teams in all 4 major leagues? And it's really interesting because Las Vegas would be the 22nd biggest NBA market. So 21 markets bigger than Las Vegas. And so, I mean, it sort of fits like the Indiana Pacers, Cavaliers, Bucks, Thunder, Grizzlies, Jazz, and Pelicans all play in smaller markets. But when you sort of do a tourism adjusted ranking, I did some work on this, trying to come up with an algorithm that would take into account visitors and business travel and conventions, stuff like that. And when you use that, you could say my algorithm's crap or not, it elevates Vegas up to number 8.
Yeah, I think that's the unique thing about Vegas is maybe they don't have enough people that live there to sustain 4 teams. Although we've seen the Knights still has a really good home field advantage. Maybe we don't see it as much with the Raiders. Who knows what it's going to be like with the A's. But you're going to have that with basketball. Maybe you won't have the greatest home field advantage, or maybe you will because it's a homegrown team instead of a transplant. So maybe there will be a lot of support there, but you'll still have enough, 40%, 30%, 50% of away people that are coming to the game, or maybe even just in town and want to check out the stadium. So they go to a game, something to do. So I think you won't have a problem filling up the stadiums.
No, and the other thing is saying, okay, 4 teams, how can we do that? So I looked at what markets had 4 teams, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, and hockey. And Las Vegas is by far the smallest market. It would be the very last one behind all the other markets that have those teams. Toronto is sort of included in that. That's a CFL team in this comparison. But no doubt that Las Vegas is much smaller. So it really is going to rely on the tourism to boost these teams.
Yeah, and I think they're set up perfectly for it. And if they do it in T-Mobile, I think that location is perfect for it. You're right in the heart of the strip. Easy for people that are visiting to get there. Maybe not as easy for locals as some other locations could be, but I think they're already doing it for the Knights, so they'll do it for this too.
Yeah, and the Knights will benefit from this too, right? They'll get a nicer arena to play in and all of that. It just helps the city. Let's do that one. But let's talk MGM. All-inclusive market. This is an exciting show. We got a new casino, we got an NBA team, and now we have MGM going all-inclusive. I saw people trashing this. I mean, it's like $330 for 2 nights is sort of the thing that they're advertising. And some people saying, oh, that's nice for young kids, but I'm an adult and I wouldn't stay there. Luxor's rooms are fine. I mean, they're decent rooms. I stay in a lot of hotel rooms, and other than some weird smells, they're good.
I think Excalibur's rooms might be even better. I mean, don't look at the fridge underneath the fridge at your Luxor room. It was fine when I stayed there. I think Excalibur with the refresh is maybe a step up from there. So I probably lean towards staying there. I love the Excalibur casino area. But when you're getting this all included, if you love having a budget, and that's why people love all inclusives or cruises, you have it all locked in. Like, hey, no matter what I lose or what I bring to lose, I'm going to have food. I'm going to have something to eat and something to drink. I'm going to have a place to stay, and I'm going to have some entertainment. That's tough to beat when you can lock that all in for $300 for 2 people.
It's a great deal. I mean, this is a great deal no matter how you slice it. Anybody who wants to poo-poo this, I would question I don't know. Maybe they want a nicer hotel, but so they're advertising it at like $330. Some dates are different, and it says it excludes certain taxes. The resort fee is included. So when I went out and priced it, I found one that was like right at $329 and change, and it came out to $343 with tax. So not a lot of taxes. It's not a huge amount. I wish that they should have just said 345 or something. They would it's weird to me that they left some taxes out.
All inclusive means everything. Just put in there. We should note that's for 2 nights too. So it's better than it sounds.
So you get a 2-night stay at Luxor or Excalibur. Now, to your point, when I was pricing this out at Excalibur, it was only $2 more to get a renovated room compared to the old room. So they weren't charging a huge premium there. 3 meals per day per guest. That's breakfast, lunch, and dinner at a selection of the restaurants that they have. And it's a decent selection across the properties. Nothing crazy there. You get 2 tickets to one MGM Resort show and then 2 rides on the Big Apple coaster, which I love that they added this in. I mean, you knew they had me when they added that in. And then also something I want to give them a lot of credit for, free self-parking.
Yeah, I think that's great. They know that they're going to get people from California, from the greater Nevada area or greater Las Vegas area, might come in and do a staycation for this. So I think that was a nice perk. I wish they would have thrown like 2 free drink vouchers in there or something.
Yeah, that would make sense in the wider thing. I guess they're trying to keep the price down. As far as like venues to eat, at Excalibur, you have the buffet and the Tap Sports Bar. I hate to say it, I really like the food at Tap. I've never really had a bad, I mean, it's bar food, but it works good. Diablo's Cantina at Luxor, my favorite memory.
Spin the wheel.
Look at the intro. Yes, exactly, Mark. Oh, that's the travel video that you spin the wheel at Diablo's Cantina. The Pyramid Cafe, Public House. I've had decent food there too. New York, they have Tom's Watch Bar, which is pretty good. And MGM Grand Buffet is on there, and also the Tap Sports Bar over there. At the Entertainment Blue Man Group, our boy Carrot Top. Just go to Carrot Top.
Just
Fantasy.
And a list. Done.
Exactly. You also got Australian Bee Gees. They did a really cool commercial for this too, which I thought they did a good job. It had Carrot Top, had all the performers in there. Somebody pointed out that they had Bellman in the commercial though, and I don't think that they exist anymore at those properties.
Did they film it like 3 years ago?
I don't know. I think it was Vegas to Cali. I hope I got that right, but I saw somebody say that. How do you complain about this? I want to say that there are limited menus, all this sort of stuff, but you can get buffets. Obviously this isn't for the luxurious, discerning traveler. This is for somebody who wants to come, keep their belly full, enjoy a great location on the strip, take a roller coaster ride. I mean, come on. Okay, it doesn't get better than this. This is a great deal.
No, and we've talked about how the low end of Vegas has been struggling. The high end's taken care of. They got those people coming. They got them spending money. They're not worried about this. This is to fill the lower end, the more budget conscious person that hasn't come to Vegas the last year or two. I think it's a great promotion. Kudos to MGM for putting it together. I know that we've talked about this being similar downtown, things like this, but this is the first time we've seen it on the strip, and it's at the 2 perfect properties to pull it off, I think. So hopefully it's really successful and they bring it back.
Yeah, I think this is a much bigger deal than any of the previous ones we've seen because MGM is, even Caesars gets a lot of coverage, but MGM is on another level in interest among this went very wide. It goes very wide, very fast. People are interested in this. But I would just say, like on the cheapest nights, those hotels often go $20, $25 a night plus resort fee. You're looking at about $75, $80 a night on the cheapest nights. If that's $160 for 2 nights, this makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's a really good deal if you can get it at that lower rate. I'm sure the weekends it pops up a bit at times, but locking in that food that's costly in Vegas. Even at a lower end restaurant, you're on the strip, you're going to spend $40, $50 for 2 people.
Last part, what does this mean for the economy? We don't know, but it's not a good sign, right? They're not doing this because they're benevolent.
No, it's not. It's probably not a great side for Vegas or just overall travel or the economy. But hey, this is what we talked about in the past. 2009, 2010 was kind of my favorite era of Vegas. So many good deals, over the top service. We're maybe leaning back into that a bit.
Crazy year it's going to be. Caesars probably going to get bought by Tillman Fertitta. MGM's throwing out all-inclusive specials and NBA teams on the way. And Cadence Crossing open. How about that? Let us know what you guys think about anything we discussed in the show down below. We do 3 shows a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and we'll be back in a couple days with another show. Can't wait to read all your comments. So many crazy stories this week.
Have a good week, everybody. Have a good weekend.